Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Basically, we've been wanting to do this a while now. A series that talks about marriage, and we're gonna kind of start at the beginning of the relationship, or shall I say at the beginning, before a man really meets that special someone, and a woman before she meets that special someone. Because in order for you to come together as a couple, you got to be together as a single person.
Yeah, and I think it's very important that we cover this because too many times sisters are tricked into situations, and I think, especially having daughters, I want my daughters to know and understand before they enter into a marriage covenant with anyone what they're to look for, okay, and what type of woman they are to be before they enter into such a covenant, because that will save you a lot of heartache and pain.
That's right.
If you just listen to the voice of Yah.
That's right. And likewise for men too, men have to be a certain way. And you daughters of Yah, you out here looking for a man, and you want to find this particular nice man, but you got to know what to look for in these men, and you just can't just the first nice Bible-toting man that show up could be the devil. So
and not to mention, I just want to add to that the scripture actually says a man that finds a wife,
that's right,
finds a good thing. So
technically,
sisters, you're not even supposed to be looking.
Yeah, you're
supposed to wait on the Father to send you someone that's going to find you. Because when you're out here looking, 9 times out of 10, you're going to find something that is not what Yah has for you.
That's right.
And that is the mistake that a lot of sisters are finding themselves in. And I will say this, that social media has made it way too easy for women to fall into snares. Exactly. All they do is look at a smiling profile on Facebook or some guy who has these much fine words and fair speech on YouTube, and he's saying all the right things to you.
That's right.
And so you say, oh my goodness, I think I'm in love. This brother is a man of God or a man of Yah. And he knows the word. And so he asked me to be his wife. So I think this is the one. Now, I'm not saying that you can't find a spouse on social media, because some people have, and they have very wonderful relationships.
That's right.
But what I am saying is a person can put a fake facade up there for you, and when you meet this person, it is the devil in the flesh.
Yeah, the devil in the flesh.
Okay, so that's why I say you got to be careful. You got to be prayed up.
Yeah.
Too many mistakes are made, too much divorce is going on, and too many relationships are falling apart because you didn't do it right to begin with.
That's right. Women, you need to be a wife to Yah first before you be a wife to anyone else out there. You have got to have a real relationship and just be to Yah, his bride, first.
Absolutely. And to me, what that means is no matter where you start off in your life, whether you're starting off in this thing young or old, you have to love the Father.
Yep.
When I say love, I don't mean someone who just pops their head in a church every now and then, or someone who reads their Bible every blue moon, or someone who gets convicted if they hear the thunder rolling. Okay, I mean someone who actually loves the Father. You have to have that type of relationship with the Father before you get tied up and tangled up with any man. Because if you don't have a relationship with the Father, what that's going to result in is you trying to find your way with a man. You're going to try to fill in the blanks, whereas the Father can teach you how to love. The scripture actually says he's going to teach his children how to love him.
That's right.
So if he teaches us how to love him, then we'll know how to love one another.
That's right.
We can't love one another if we don't know how to love the Father. So sisters, I want you to keep that in mind when you're out here and you're waiting to be found.
That's right. And brothers, I just got to say this, you have got to be a brother, a child of Yah, who wants to be a set apart child of Yah, one that's walking and living according to the scriptures. He's walking in the Spirit, one that's filled with the Spirit of Yah. I want to turn your attention to this scripture here. This is a very important scripture. This is a prophecy concerning men. And it tells you that these men are going to come about in the future. So you women out there got to understand that the Bible done already prophesied about what kind of man is going to come. I want you to turn to this. I'm going to read this to you. It's in 2 Timothy, and we're going to look at chapter 3. And this is a very important scripture here, okay? Chapter 3, now, 2 Timothy, chapter 3. And this is what it says, okay? Now, this is prophecy of the future, letting you know what kind of men are going to be in the future. And I want you to listen to this carefully. It says, this know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. So it's letting you know in the last days, right? Mm-hmm. For men shall be lovers of their own selves. Mm-hmm. Now, what kind of a husband do you think that man is going to make if he's a lover of his own self?
Very selfish.
Yeah, very selfish. Covetous. Mm-hmm. Boasters. Proud. Blasphemers. Disobedient to parents. Unthankful, unholy, or unset apart. Without natural affection. Mm-hmm. So it's letting you know these are the type of men that's going to be in the future, in the last days. We're in the last days, okay? Mm-hmm. These are the type of men that's come what? Truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors. Now, can you imagine you're married, if you end up being married to one of these men and he's a traitor? So you're married to him. Now, that means he'll cheat on you then. So, women, you got to understand, this is what's out here. So you can't be quick to the first young man that come walking around with his Bible, quoting scriptures, and he's claiming to be something, but it's all like words on a hook, because he's trying to hook you. So you got to understand, if you end up with one of these traitors or one of these type of men, what you going down the road of destruction. So you got to get yourself close to Yah first, so that Yah can speak to you, so that Yah can guide the right man into your life. He that findeth a wife, findeth a good thing. So you women, you need to just get close to Yah. Get that relationship together first. I'm going to keep reading this last bit here. It says, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of Yah. What kind of a men are these? This is what you see out here. Then you ask yourself, you wonder, why is the divorce rate so high? Because these are the type of men that women are marrying right here. These are the type of men that's out there. So, I mean, it's right here in the Word. It says having a form of godliness. So they come to you with this form of godliness, but they're what? Denying the power thereof. Now it says from such, turn away from.
Get away from them.
Turn away from them. Why? It tells you what they're after. Now listen to this here. It says, for of this sort are they which crept into houses and led silly women laden with sins, led captive silly women laden with sins, led away with divers lusts. So basically, the Most High is trying to tell you these are the type of men that's going to be out here, and the women that they're going to get, they're going to heap into themselves. They're going to pull these women are going to be silly women.
Laden with sin.
Laden with sins.
Now, what kind of sin are these women laden with? Now, many of them may even appear to be women that follow after the truth or women that follow after Yah, but that laden with sin are people who have not committed themselves to the truth. They have not committed themselves to holiness and righteousness.
That's
and
right.
They have not committed themselves to the Most High. So therefore, they are the perfect one to fall into this snare of these brute beasts.
That's right.
The scripture also refers to these brothers as brute beasts.
Brute beast.
Okay, and so if a woman is unable to follow after the Spirit, then she will be the one who will fall into the snare of these types of men. And so for women, I say to you, before you even enter into a covenant of marriage, you want to make sure that that relationship you have with the Father is on target.
That's right.
Okay, make sure that you can hear the voice of Yah, because if you cannot hear his voice and you can only hear that man's voice, you are going to be tricked into being one of these silly women laden with sin. I've seen it happen so many times. Right now, what I've noticed is that a lot of men, especially those who claim to be in the truth of knowing that we are the Israelites, they have put themselves in the position of being the teacher of women.
That's right.
They're saying, okay, I'm going to teach this sister over here. She's single. And in his mind, not only is she single, she's vulnerable.
That's right.
He said, I'm going to tell her what her duty to me is going to be. So he's grooming her for himself. And what these sisters don't realize, but they're starting to realize down the line, he's not just grooming you, he's grooming 2 or 3 other sisters too. Because these brothers have an agenda. So I'm speaking to you sisters right now. Many of you, I've spoken to a few of you where you have fallen into this snare. And so I must tell you, sisters, you have to be careful. It is not the man's job to teach you how you are supposed to be as a wife. The scripture says that the older women are supposed to teach the younger women. Okay, and so when you have a brother trying to teach you how to be a wife, and then he wants to seal the deal and say, well, sister, let me come on over there so we can consummate this thing. Okay, he just told on himself right there. That's all he wants. He only wants what's between your legs. That's what he wants, sisters. Okay, I'm going to keep it real. So anybody who don't want me to keep it real, you can just turn the video off. Okay, but I'm going to keep it real right now, because our sisters are falling into this trap because they are being played upon, because they're vulnerable. And many brothers are taking advantage of the fact that you are vulnerable and the fact that you are lonely and that you want someone in your life. So I want you all to take heed and just pray yourself up, okay? If it's difficult for you, I want you to imagine for a moment. If you allow yourself to enter into a covenant with a brother who has prepped you and 3 or 4 other women at the same time, 6 months down the line, fast forward to that point, do you feel that you're going to be happy? If you decide that, I think I'll give him a chance. He seemed nice, he handsome, he keeping the laws, and he observed the Sabbath, and he told me he loved me. You know, you think you're going to be happy with this brother 6 months down the line, but he living across town with sister so-and-so over here, and you only get to see him once or twice a year? Okay, do you think you're going to be happy with that situation? Or maybe you even see him more often, but what if he lives over here, but he only pays you a visit when this sister's on her cycle, or when this one over here is expecting a child or something like that, and you are his part-time wife? Is that what you want for your life, sisters? Because that's the snare and the trap that many of these brothers are trying to get our sisters into.
That's right.
Now, first of all, the scripture never says that it's a woman's duty to take care of a man. I'm going to let my husband elaborate on that a bit, because a lot of our brothers seem to have it twisted in their minds about who's supposed to be taking care of whom.
Well, there's a scripture in Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 10. It says that if a man would not work, neither shall he eat. So you brothers out there, you got it a little twisted. A man is supposed to be a hard worker.
Yes,
he's supposed to work hard from sun up to sundown. He's supposed to be a hard worker. Okay? When Yahshua went out and he chose his disciples, who did he choose? Did he choose men that was sitting back at home with their feet up, kicking the breeze? Nope. He chose men that were workers. They were hard workers. They owned businesses. These were men that had careers. Some of them were lawyers. Some of them were tax collectors. These men had jobs, okay? So you men out here that's sitting back, ain't got a job, you know, you living in your little apartment and you ain't got a job and you just hustling women to get money, you got to be a hard worker. You women, you keep away from these men, because these men don't understand the concept of being a hard worker. If he is not a hard worker, then you need to keep away from him. And you brothers out there that don't understand this, you got to understand this here, because the scripture talks about Yah when it was talking about the talents, when he said he dealt unto certain men these talents, which he explained it was money. Okay, and in that passage he describes the master, and he says he was a hard man, gathering where he didn't even plant. Well, how you gonna reap if you don't plant?
Absolutely.
Don't the scripture says that you must reap what you sow? And you're not sowing anything, but you expect to sit back and collect a crop every year, and you ain't sowing nothing. And see, that's what the problem what I find with a lot of men is, they don't understand the concept of working hard and getting out there, plowing the field. When I say plowing the field, I'm talking about life. Okay, I'm talking about getting a job or starting your own business or doing something instead of just sitting around trying to get as many women as you can to give you money. One thing I want to bring out quickly is, you know, the scripture talked about how men should flee fornication. And a lot of these brothers, and I know what they're going through, because these brothers, what happens is they're out there in the world, right? They're out there in the world and they don't know Yah, okay? And what are they doing out there? They're fornicators. They're players. They playing one woman to the next woman. They're just playing one after the other, right? Then all of a sudden they come into the truth. They find out they're Hebrews and they want to do right. But instead of them trying to take on set apartness, instead of them wanting to live like the scriptures and live right, the first thing they go to the scriptures and they see Solomon and all his concubines and all these women, and the first thing they he had 500 of them, and see if I get myself about 500-600 women, you know. And it's like, no, dude. What you're doing is you're just doing the same thing you were doing out in the world. You're being a player and you're bringing it into the truth. You're just trying to find a way to use the word to validate you being a player. And actually, brother, you playing yourself right out of the kingdom. Okay, I hope you can receive that. You're just playing yourself right out of the kingdom. One thing that you must understand, and this is for both the women and the men, you must get this through your mind. Okay, the scripture says that know ye not that ye are the temple of Yah. Yeah. Okay? So that your body is a temple. Okay? So you want to take the Yah's temple, you want to go out here and you want to defile the temple? And the scripture says, him shall Yah destroy. It's clear in the scriptures. Him shall Yah destroy. So everybody's attitude should be, this is a holy temple. I represent the Most High. I represent Yah. Why do you think Yah removed his name from us in the first place? Because he didn't want it polluted among the heathen. Because we go out and we tell people I represent Yah, and then we go out and you see this buffoonery that's going on out here in the streets. Us walking around carrying Yah's name and playing 3-4 women, having babies by different women, and can't even take care of one child. Can't even take care of your own self. Ain't even got enough integrity to get a job and take care of your own self. But you trying to get 8-9 women, you want 500 wives, and you can't even hold one job.
And there is no justification in scripture whatsoever for that. There's a new teaching that's going forth amongst the Israelites. And this teaching is, and this is what I was trying to say in the beginning, that a lot of brothers, they are prepping women with falsism. You know, basically putting it in their minds that any money that this woman earns, any possessions that she holds, the minute she marries him, transfers to him. And they're telling these women that when you get your check, you bring it to me. I'm the head. I'm the man. So you bring me your money. That is not in scripture. As a matter of fact, when a man was to take a woman as a wife, he was the one who had to give to her father to show that he had the wherewithal to take care of her.
Exactly.
And so now when you have these brothers now preaching this whole other little hookup, I don't know where they get it from because it ain't in scripture. They're telling these women if you have 5 of them, just imagine you have 5 of them, and each of them have a job. That's 5 checks that have to be handed over to his behind. So that ain't in scripture.
So he don't have to work. See, that's his way of saying, I'm gonna get around this. I know the scripture says that I'm supposed to work, but this is the way I can get around work. But dude, you just being a pimp.
And then what he does is he tells these women, look, I gotta read the scripture. That's my job. I have to read the scripture so I can teach you.
No, brother, I tell you, when you read the scripture, when you get off work and you come home and you got some time before you go to bed, you take that time out and you read the scripture then. Or when you get up early in the morning before you go to work, you take time and you read your scripture then. Or when you take your lunch break from your job, okay, then you read your scripture then. But all this talking about, oh no, I'm supposed to sit at home
and study all day.
And study all day, and you go and you make the money and you bring the money back to me all day.
Because I'm the head. And because I'm your head, you bring the money to me. Now, not one scripture can be produced to support that foolishness.
Exactly. Not one scripture.
And so, when these men say this, if you were actually using all this time to study like you claim, brothers, then I'm sure that you have some type of scripture to support this. Because I have never seen one. You can't produce one because it's not there.
Yeah.
And so I want my sisters to be careful, to be aware of these types of brothers.
That's right.
And I want my sisters to understand that if you fall into this snare, then you have to take a look at yourself.
That's right.
You have to take a look and see, where did I go wrong with my relationship with the Father? Because if your relationship with the Father is intact, He's going to lead you in the right path.
That's right.
Okay, and I know it may sound a little harsh, but the Most High will allow you to go into these situations because you are not hearing Him.
That's right.
Okay, if you're not hearing Him, you will pair yourself up with one of these men. And our brothers, if they had the integrity that Yah put in His men, in His righteous men, they wouldn't want to put a sister through this. Okay, a lot of brothers, they are very mentally abusive to these sisters. They're telling them that you have to take care of yourself. You know, I have my wife over here, okay, but I can't leave her at the moment. But you can be my wife right now because she's pregnant and she's not doing what a wife is supposed to do. What does that mean? What does that mean she's not doing? First of all, sisters, you shouldn't even want to be with a fella who's talking to you about this wife over here. You shouldn't even want to pair up with somebody and become his second or third wife, and he's talking to you about the one who's supposed to be the love of his life.
That shows you her heart, see?
Exactly. Yeah. It shows you your heart, sister, right. And it shows you his heart too. That if he would open up his mouth against his wife, talking about she's not doing what she's supposed to do, she's pregnant and she's not pleasing me at home, he done told you what he's after. He's told you what he ain't looking for nobody to bake him no cake. He told you what he's about. He's not looking for somebody to fry him no food, to fry him no chicken or nothing like that. She can still do that. What this brother is looking for is something on the side until she drops her load. And any woman with any sense would know better. So, sisters, if you find yourself falling into these snares, then you need to check your relationship with the Father because it's not there.
That's right.
It is lacking.
That's right. You need to check your relationship. The scripture makes it clear. It tells you what kind of men, what kind of women these men are going to grab. They're going to get who? They're going to lead captive who? Silly women laden with sins. So then if you get a hold of one of these men, that tells you what you are. I mean, that's the word. You can't get around it. That's why, women, you need to seek the Most High, seek Him, get close to Him. He's your husband first. Because how you going to be a husband to some man out there that's a righteous man, a wife? How you going to be a wife to some righteous man out there when you have to be a wife to Yah first? Okay? You got to be a wife to Yah first. You got to know what it's like to seek Him and to be led of Him so that you don't fall into these snares out there.
One thing that needs to be understood too, that relationship that you have with the Father have to be of the sort to where not even your husband can come in between that.
That's right.
Okay, and so I think that's the problem a lot of sisters are having. I remember a few years ago, I was talking to a young woman and she was talking about how she did any and everything for this man who wasn't even her husband. giving him her whole check. That was one of them. Feeding him whatever he wanted to eat. She had children, but it was more important that he ate good first before the children. Okay, and she went on to talk about how I gave him everything, and I did this for him, and I did that for him, but he turned on me. I'm going to tell you women, okay, and hopefully no one will take this the wrong way, but if you're putting all of that into a man and you haven't put that into Yah, that man is going to walk all over you.
Yeah.
A man needs to understand that your relationship with the Father is more important. Not your relationship with your husband. You love your husband. Your husband is your head, okay? But you also have to love the Father more. If you don't love the Father more, it will be very evident.
Oh, you will perish.
Yes.
The bottom line is you'll perish. If you don't love the Father more, I'll tell you what I mean when I say you'll perish, okay? For instance, let's say you have a woman, okay, and she has a husband, but she loves her husband more than she loves Yah. Well, what if this husband came into the marriage with some wickedness, you know, some wicked doctrine, or some wicked woman he trying to bring into his marriage as a second wife, just something wicked, and you, because you love him, you willing to agree to this thing and do this thing, and yet this man has a wicked heart. And the Most High wouldn't have you to participate in that thing. So what if this man decided, hey, you know what, I want to bring a lesbian type mix into my relationship. You gonna go with that?
Well, because I love my husband, I got to do what he said.
Yeah, you gonna go with that, huh? Or what? Let's go one further. There's all kinds of wickedness going on out here in the world. What if he brings a German Shepherd into the relationship? You gonna go with that? You know, I mean, come on now. It's some wild stuff going on out here. It's wild.
Absolutely.
So it's wickedness out here. You got to have a love for the Most High first above anything, so that when your man he come with some wickedness, you going to look at him, a holy woman, to look at that man, a holy woman, to look at that man, and she'll say, honey,
get thee behind me, Satan.
You're not hearing Yah.
This is not of the Father.
That's not of the Father. What you trying to bring into this relationship here, women? You got to be strong like that.
You have to be.
You
strong.
got to have a relationship with him like that.
Be strong in Yah in the power of His might.
That's right.
To not allow this type of foolishness to come into your life.
Exactly.
Because you love this man more than you love Yah.
Exactly.
And so that's why it's so important that we understand that we must love the Father first, because if we love the Father first, then we're going to love that man the way he's supposed to be loved. He's going to love you the way you're supposed to be loved.
Exactly.
The scripture says that the husband to love his wife like Christ loves the church.
That's
the
right.
assembly, okay? And if you have that type of relationship going on, you're going to have the right harmony.
That's right.
You won't have harmony if you're letting all this fleshly mess enter into your marriage covenant. Our marriage is supposed to reflect that of the Father with us, with the body of Yahshua. That's how our marriage is supposed to be. And so this is why we have to have that relationship intact with the Father. I can't make that point enough, that has to be first and foremost. And sisters, I don't mean, oh, I observe the Sabbath, or I keep my head wrapped, or I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I'm soft-spoken. It's far more to it than that.
That's right.
Do you love the Father?
That's right.
And many of us, we say it with our mouths. But you know what Yah says? He said, you love me with your mouth, but your heart is far from it.
That's right.
So he knows. He knows if we love him. So we want to make sure that, Father, if I don't love you right, teach me how to love you.
That's
Father,
right.
teach me how to pray. Teach me how to be. You ask the Father to teach you how to be what you're supposed to be.
That's right.
Okay, then you won't fall into these snares where men are grooming you, trying to teach you what you're supposed to be. Woman, you're supposed to cook for me. Woman, you're supposed to iron my clothes, keep them fresh, keep the house clean. Give me your check, give me all of this. You won't fall into those snares, and you'll say, wait a minute, you know what? You ain't even got to get into an argument with that brother. You just turn your ringer off and don't answer the phone no more when you call.
That's right.
You know, if a brother's out of order like that, don't even give him the time of day. Because if you think you're going to fix that man, you're going to be just like millions of other women for decades and centuries who failed at it. Okay? Don't think that you got something so golden in your person that you're going to change a man who is wrapped in sin. That's Yah's job.
You can't change
You
that
can't
man.
clean him up. Women oftentimes think that they going to give him something a little bit better than the other sister did that's going to magically snap him out of this daydream that he's in.
If God can't snap him out of that daydream, what do you think you going to snap him out of it? So one thing I like that you brought out, you talked about harmony. And a relationship is supposed to be harmony in the relationship. But think about your relationship with Yah. Your relationship with Yah is supposed to be in harmony first. So then once that relationship is together and it's flowing and it's harmony, so now when you come together with someone that the Most High guide your way and he finds you and he wants to marry you, then you all have harmony. If you have it with Yah and you bring it into a relationship, you're going to have it in your relationship.
And without that harmony, you'll know very early on, because there are certain things that even before you say I do, many times there are signs that are very visible. But as women, I think because there is a certain curse attached to the daughters of Zion. The scripture says you walk about with your neck stretched and your heels clanking about. And one part of that was that your men are going to die by the edge of the sword, right?
That's right.
So because this has been happening and playing out, there is a higher ratio of women than there are men. And so you'll see a woman who will say, well, you know what, I'll just settle for this because there are not that many men. You have men in jail. You have men that are crossing over to be with the heathen woman. You have brothers who are deciding, hey, I like men better. You know, homosexuality is the life for me. So when you are faced with that as the daughter of Zion, if some jackleg brother come your way and he is just way out of line on what you were looking for, you'll say, well, you know what, he ain't that bad. You'll rationalize that in your mind and say that he's not that bad.
But he'll get that bad.
Yeah, when you look at these things, and what I say when I say not that bad, I'm talking about real issues. Now, when you got those sisters out there, you know, I've seen many sisters who, I ain't gonna marry no garbage man. You know, I ain't gonna marry this type of, if he ain't making this kind of money, well then just be by yourself then, because that is a working man. You know, some women prefer men who are, I hate to say it, but being very abusive to them. You know, I actually saw that. There was an episode on, I think, Divorce Court. Someone had posted a clip on Facebook where this woman divorced her husband because he was too nice to her. This is what she said. He was too nice, cooking for her at 2 and 3 in the morning. Whenever she said, I'm hungry, he would get up and do a full course meal for her. But I think he had a hearing problem or something. Like, he wasn't blind. It was a hearing problem, if I'm not mistaken. But this woman said he was too nice, and that was her grounds for divorce. So that lets you know that something is warped going on in our minds right now, to where we think a man is too nice and we prefer somebody who's going to yell a little bit, maybe hit and smack around a little bit. You prefer that? So what is going on in our brains to where a good man is passed over because he's driving around in a garbage truck, but you want to ride around with a dope dealer who got guns blazing behind him every day
just because he got rims?
Yeah, he got a nice car. He got a gold tooth.
He got a nice car with
That's
rims.
more appealing to you. And obviously, we're not talking about daughters of Zion who have at least latched on to the truth. We're talking about our sisters and brothers that are still out here in the streets. But this is just to show you the mindset of our women right now, that we are just all over the place with what we will accept as a good
That's
man.
right.
And sometimes, you know, I've noticed this coming up myself, that a lot of women, a lot of young girls, they are drawn to the thug.
Yeah.
They want that brother that's walking around sagging and selling dope and living this foul life. But the brother that's sitting over here doing his work and quiet in the house and trying to study to go to college, they don't want him.
Yeah, they don't want him.
He's too boring. We don't want to have nothing to do with this fellow over here who's trying to pick up an instrument and play and have a talent. We want the brother that's ripping and running the streets, and every other girl wants him. The bad boy, as my son says, you want the bad boy.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when you get the bad boy and you done got knocked up a couple of times by him and got a couple babies and he done hit the road and he's over here knocking up Sally Sue now, then you're crying. But this is what you wanted in your life. You didn't want the young man
then
who
all
was
of a sudden,
trying to do something with his life.
yeah, then all of a sudden the young man that was trying to do something with his life, then did something with his life. He doing good now. Now you looking over there at him, but
Like,
you got your bundle of your 4-5 kids from 4-5 different men, and you looking over at him, smile like, hey.
Oh, he'd be a good daddy for my kids.
Exactly.
That brother want his own family.
That's right. Exactly.
You know? And there's nothing wrong with someone marrying a person with children. I'm not saying that at all.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, just keep it real. Be realistic, okay? Don't go out here and mess your life up and expect someone else to come and pick up the pieces, because it don't always work that way with everyone. If you keep yourself straight from Jump Street, then you may not have these things to worry about. Okay, we all have a duty, and because we have adapted to this wicked culture here in America, we think that things are supposed to go the way they do in fairy tale land. I often talk about how black people are in la la land, and it's like we hang out in la la land. We don't want to deal with anything that is real. We only deal with that is fake. Okay, with our sisters, I want to address this. If you want to be found as a wife by a good man or righteous man, we're going to have to do some things. Okay, one of the things that a lot of our sisters are falling into is trying to take on this appearance of the European woman. Okay?
Exactly.
No matter what you hear said about weaving yourself up, bleaching your skin, painting your face up, no matter what you hear about it, many of you are fighting against this. You're fighting against it because you think it's right and righteous to look the way the heathen looks. And it's actually backfiring. If you look on YouTube, you can find thousands of videos of brothers joking and talking about black women and about how fake black women are with their hair and their nails and their skin bleaching. They are telling you, sisters, we don't want this. They don't want this type of woman. So you need to find out what it is you're supposed to look like. Natural. There's nothing wrong with being natural. Trying to updo yourself to look like another woman is not a good thing to do. You're not going to snag this perfect man trying to look like someone else. It's just not going to happen. And another thing too, I hear a lot of very unrealistic requests. One sister that I talked to actually said that she's waiting on that billionaire. She says she's believing the Most High that he's going to bless her with a billionaire. And sister, I don't know too much to say about that other than
have you seen the latest billionaires? I mean, you can research them on the internet.
Yes.
You want to be married to one of them guys?
What I would like to say about the billionaires too is that is unrealistic, sister. That's another one of those la la land dreams that you need to wake up from. Okay. Women are just not finding billionaires. It's hard to find a millionaire or even a thousandaire these days.
A guy with a job.
A guy with a job. So if that's what your dream husband is like, then you will probably enter into the grave single. Okay?
I think we need to get back to to the basics, you know, as far as seeking the Most High. The scripture talks about the adorning of the heart, the person of the heart, you see, and as far as you know, oh, I want this kind of man, and I want that kind of man, and I want this. He got to have this, and he got to have that. I think you got to get back to the point to where you have a heart that seeks the Most High, and let the Most High send you that type of man, because you don't know what you want. You can sit there all day long and say, I want this man to be a millionaire, I want him to be a billionaire, I want him to have a job doing this, and I want him to be like this and be like that. You don't know what you want. Okay? If the Most High was to let you have some of these things, your life would probably be ruined. So I think you need to get back to seeking the Most High and letting him bring into your life what he feels you should have, and you just wait. You get close to him, but you just wait. You know, quit being so anxious. I know when you look out here, your biological clock is ticking. You're looking around out here, you see these men out here, and you see all these women after one man. A man can literally right now go through hundreds of women like it ain't nothing. Okay? I had brothers, when I grew up with my older brothers, they were all players. I seen them sit one woman out one door and bring another one in another door. You know, and it's just like that. It's just players, you know. And so, women, you all got to understand, this is the kind of mindset that men have today. Men have that player mentality. And until these men are able to drop that, you won't want none of these men. So you need to wait on y'all anyway. So if the numbers have changed and there are 7 women to 1 man now, then you ain't gonna find that man out there. It takes y'all to bring that man to you. You know? Or you'll find yourself just there's another one notch off my belt. There's another one. There's another one. You'll sit around in your lifetime and you went through 40 or 50 men in your lifetime and still haven't found the right one. So it's best to just wait, seek the Most High, let you get your heart together, because what I'm seeing manifested out here isn't Yah. It isn't Yah being manifested in a person's heart. You see, you can't have one without the other. I can sit here all day long and say, you know what, that's an apple tree over there. But if I look on the apple tree and I see pears, that ain't no apple tree.
Absolutely.
You can call it an apple tree all you want, but it's not an apple tree, okay? You judge a tree by its fruit, okay? So if I look at a woman and I see her dressing sensually, what does that tell you? What is being manifested? What is coming out of her? If she's dressing such a way to where she's trying to cause men, get men's attention, then what's going on with her? Something wicked is in her heart. You understand? Because the scripture tells you modest apparel. In other words, don't be ridiculous in what you're wearing. You see, it tells you that. It tells you that a woman is supposed to be a certain way. She ain't supposed to be what? Haughty. Okay? Haughty. Now, it's 2 sides to every coin, because I hear some of the Hebrew men talk about, oh, black women. Well, why are some of these women like that, though? Okay? You look at some of the stuff that some of the men are doing, well, no wonder she's, you know, because these men are trying to bring some stuff into relationships, and these women don't want these things. So, of course, a woman is going to get a little mouthy or whatever when you trying to do some foolishness. You know, you down to, men, you got to be responsible. You know, you're down to only a few bucks, got bills to pay, but nah, you want to go out and get some sounds. You know, lights about to get cut off, but I got my sounds in my rat, though.
Or you sitting up playing video games. Sitting up playing video games and your wife out here working. Of course, this woman is going to get a little bit fed up with that.
Then she going to get tired of it. She going to get tired coming home from a hard day's work and you in there on a video game, or you in there sitting up chilling, enjoying the day. She out there working hard, come on, her feet all aching, and then she got to go in there and cook something for you. Well, of course she gonna be, of course.
I find that pretty funny. I find it very funny and sad at the same time that some brothers actually expect that, where the wife goes out and works all day, and he's sitting at home all day watching television, movie after movie, playing video games, and the minute she walks through the door, Facebooking it, the minute she walks through the door, he said, "Oh, hey, what you cooking for dinner?" I'm like, what kind of nerve this brother got? You done been sitting up in here all day and you asking her, and you ain't even said, how you doing, honey? How was your day? You know, you ain't bothered to see how she's feeling. Yeah. You ain't rubbed her shoulders or nothing, because she consented to working while you stand at home. But your only thing is what you cooking for dinner.
Do you know the number of men that I have met, that I know, that don't work jobs? And they just literally, day after day, just basically chilling. You know, and wives are going out, working. I had one brother, I was on the phone with a brother, and his wife was coming home from work. And his brother was like, he said, hey, I gotta go, man. My wife's home. I gotta go. And I was like, well, what's going on? Well, wife's home, man. I gotta do something, because he's not working a job. So he's feel like, well, I better clean and do these things like this here. Well, brother, you should really be working a job, though. I mean, that's off down to your wife. She's going to work or whatever, and you're going to try to keep the house clean and do a few things around the house and do all of this. But you really should be working. Okay?
Or start a business or something.
Do something. Start a business. Now that brother, he has a business now and he's doing things, you know. But the bottom line is that we as men got to be in more control of our lives before we try to control the life of a woman. Before we try to control the life of bringing kids into our life. We're going to bring kids, a wife and kids into our life. You can't even deal with your own life. Come on now. We got to be more control. We got to be in more control of our life, working jobs, handling business. We got to be responsible because the Most High hold you men responsible. You are supposed to be the person that's bringing in the bread. You supposed to be that man. And me personally, I couldn't feel right if I wasn't bringing home the bread. I just couldn't feel right. I would have to do something. If my business wasn't making it, I'd be out here working a job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs if I had to. And I wouldn't be ashamed of where I had to work. If I had to work at McDonald's, I'd be working at McDonald's. It's something. I'm bringing home money for my family. You understand? So I think it's the mindset of everybody. Most of the men now just got this whimper to, oh, no, I don't want to work hard. And they scared of hard work. Men today are just scared of it. And it's like, how you gonna you supposed to be in the image and likeness of Yah.
And you banging knowledge into women's heads, trying to force them to respect you, you know, telling them that this is your duty as a woman. And you're not even performing your duties as a man.
As a man, how you expect her to respect you? That's right. How you expect a woman to respect you when you're not handling your part? A woman knows a boy when she see one. She knows a boy when she see one. She know that a boy, instead of a boy getting food on the table for the family, a boy would rather be playing a video game. She know he'd be rather out there chasing girls than to be trying to handle his. She know a boy when she see one, and everybody else know it too.
And the one thing about these sisters that you brothers don't give them credit for is she tolerates this mess.
Yeah.
A woman will put up with this mess for a long time before she finally say enough is enough. And when a woman throws in the towel and say enough is enough, I can't take this no more, then all of a sudden you say that she got spirits and demons and she's being controlled by this and controlled by that, and she's rising up and she won't support her man. Support you in what? You know, we saw a video yesterday, and I want to use this clip in one of our future videos. Where they were talking about, they were showing all of these black men. They were like, it was a joke video. Okay, they were saying, adopt a poor black man. They have been abused and misused and mistreated, and you know. And they said, here is what did they say? The white woman is to the rescue. Or something
white woman to the rescue. White woman show up with some cereal for the man. He all
up on outside
on the curb
like
or something.
Dog. And she gives him some cereal to eat, you know.
And then they would show some.
They
would show some of the black men where his black woman would be there getting at him about something, and then all of a sudden he'd be like,
"A white woman comes to the rescue."
Yeah.
Now, I'm sorry, but you black men, every time you get on YouTube and you make all these videos talking about how no good black women are, and how black women don't support you, and black women talk too much and do all of this, you don't want to talk about what led black women to where they are.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the ones who deserve this talk that y'all giving.
Exactly.
But one thing I've been wanting to point out for some time now is that you will never see a white man or a Chinese man or an Arab man or men of any other nation making videos, music, and all kinds of garbage dedicated to putting down their women. They never put out videos. You'll never find a video where white men are saying white women are just trash. They are just whores. They're this, they're that. You don't find videos like that, but you can find a whole lot of videos where black men are putting down black women.
Exactly.
What kind of foolishness is that?
Exactly.
You all don't understand what you do to your posterity when you do that. That is a bunch of foolishness, and it is not endorsed by the Most High. And many of you don't make a separation. You don't say that the women you've dealt with are this way. The majority of the women we know personally are good women. Yeah. The majority of black women will crawl through crap for a black man. Now, you men, you don't take into consideration that many of us grew up in households where we witnessed the man beating our mothers, hitting them, abusing them, cheating on them. And when these women are tired of crying, like Dionne Warwick and Patti LaBelle and one of the other sisters, Gladys Knight, they sung a song, I'm Not Your Superwoman. Okay, and then there was another song where they said, no more tears for you. When black women get into the frame of mind, they're saying, I don't have no more tears. I'm finished crying. That means she done already been through hell with you. And then all of a sudden you get, oh, she's mad at me now. After years of abuse, she's mad at me. Oh, she done turned her back on me. Negro, you got to take your part in this too. The black woman you see today is a result of what you have done. And you want to lay the whole charge at her like black men are some helpless victims that have been brutalized by the black woman for so long, and he's just so pitiful now he can't take it. That's why they made that video. They making fun of you black men. Yeah. Many of you will sit up and look at that video and say, see, the white woman know what we going through. They know what we going through. I want y'all to look that video up, okay? Look that video up. And if we remember, we'll post a link to it at this video so you can see it, that they are making fun of you. They're trying to make it seem like you are so weak and pathetic that they need to come and rescue you. And they guess what else? Guess what else they threw in there? And they said even white men are coming to your rescue too. They threw in a couple of gays. And they showed these two gays snuggling up on both sides of this one black man. As he all up in the middle of them.
Yeah, exactly.
They making fun of you, brother.
Making fun of you, exactly. And so this is how the world view you black men. They view you all as what? Like you're bums. Oh, I'm hurting. Oh, my woman hurting me. My woman talking against me. Oh, man, she fussing at me. Oh, man, I'm all broken and weak.
She keep being on me about getting a job. I can't find one, so get off me, woman.
They're all weak. What kind of man is that? The weak man. There were times I couldn't find a job years ago, and I still did something to make money. I was cutting grass. I was cutting hair. I was doing some of everything to make money. Get up off your behind and do something. I know for sure that if you're seeking the Most High and you got Yah in your life, that He's going to even open doors for you to make it so that you can work a job. He'll send work your way. But if you gonna play this game with Yah, and you gonna play this game against His people, against His daughters, then I got news for you, brother. You only playing yourself, because that whole thing gonna turn around on you, and you gonna find yourself in a heap of trouble. Because that's the word. That's what the words say. You gonna reap what you sow. You see, and a lot of you brothers out here, the reason why you ain't reaped anything, you ain't sold anything. I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
And we're going to pick this up probably next week if it's Yah's will, or maybe one day this week. We want to make this an ongoing series where we're going to cover, various aspects of the relationship between a husband and wife. We're going to cover this because there's things that need to be told. We need to tell you the good part and the bad part.
That's right.
Because without having both parts of it, you might have a good woman in a relationship with a bad man, or a good man in a relationship with a bad woman. So we need to iron all of this out.
That's right.
And if we are all in accordance with the will of the Father, I guarantee you that harmony is going to find its way into your marriage. Now get this, we're not saying that there won't be some hurdles that you have to go over.
Exactly.
We're not saying that you won't have situations in your marriage that you have to iron out. Even our forefathers had things that they had to deal with in their marriages.
Exactly.
But that shouldn't be the end all, do all of your marriage.
That's right.
If you have the Father in your life, He's going to help you through that thing. And as I mentioned in the very first video where we was talking about the responsibility of the woman is, if you have to, both of you need to go back to the drawing board.
That's right.
And see where you have failed. Instead
right.
of always trying to find out what's this person's problem, see where you have failed.
Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. I mean, that's the most important part. That's why we started out and we were talking about a woman being a wife to Yah first, a man being a son of Yah first, because that's the most important part. You see, and when you finally get into a relationship, you got to go back to square one. Where am I failing at? What am I doing wrong? Look in the mirror at yourself instead of always pointing it at your spouse. Look in the mirror at yourself, because I guarantee you, if you look in that mirror hard enough, the Most High will show you where your shortcomings are. I guarantee you. So we're gonna leave you all with this one, and we just pray, you know, that this message can be received.
And with that, we will say shalom.
Shalom.
Have a good day.